Hello everyone. Welcome to another English learning video. Today I will tell you an exciting story. It's about two friends who went fishing. Listen carefully. Pause after each sentence and repeat after me. This practice is called shadowing. It will help you speak English more naturally and confidently. Are you ready? Let's begin. It was early morning. The forest was still asleep. The air was cool and damp. Mist curled between the trees. The grass sparkled with dew. Daniel adjusted the straps of his backpack. His fishing rod stuck out at an angle. Beside him, Chris carried a small cooler. Inside were sandwiches, water, and a thermos of coffee. They walked down the narrow path. Birds chirped above them. A squirrel darted across the trail. Chris smiled. Feels like the world belongs only to us. The lake appeared suddenly. One moment, only trees. The next, a wide, endless sheet of water. Blue, calm, silent. The surface reflected the rising Sunday. Daniel stopped. Beautiful, he whispered. Chris nodded slowly. I've never seen it so still. They found an old wooden pier. It leaned slightly to one side, but it held their weight. They set down their bags. Daniel opened the tackle box. Hooks, lures, and shiny metal spoons glimmered. He chose a silver lure. Chris picked a green one. The lines whistled through the air. Plop. Ripples spread across the lake. They sat quietly. Only the sound of water, the smell of pine filled their lungs. Minutes turned to hours. Chris poured coffee. Steam rose from the cup. Perfect morning, he said. Daniel caught the first fish. Small, but lively. He held it up proudly. Chris laughed. One for you. My turn next. They talked about work, about old friends, about nothing important. Time slipped away. But slowly, the sky shifted. Clouds thickened at the edges. The air grew heavier. The birds grew quiet. Chris frowned. Looks strange, don't you think? Daniel glanced up. It'll pass, just a cloud. The wind picked up. The water rippled. Another fish tugged at Daniel's line. He pulled, but the rod bent sharply. Then snap. The line broke. Damn, he muttered. Chris chuckled. Nature wins this round. But the laughter didn't last. The clouds moved faster. The sky turned gray. The first rumble of thunder echoed. The air smelled of rain. Chris stood. Dan, maybe we should pack up. Daniel hesitated. One more cast. The lure flew. The water splashed. Another rumble followed. This time louder. Then the first drop fell. Cold, heavy. On Daniel's hand, another hit Chris's shoulder. Within seconds, rain poured down. Sheets of water. Wind roared through the trees. The lake changed. Gentle ripples became waves. They slammed against the pier. Boards groaned. The cooler slid across the wood. Chris grabbed it. Come on, he shouted. His voice was nearly drowned by the storm. They tried to reel in their lines. The rods bent violently. Another crack of thunder shook the sky. Lightning flashed. The forest glowed white for a moment. Then darkness again. Rain stung their faces. Their jackets were soaked. The piers swayed under their feet. Daniel's heart raced. "This way!" he yelled. He grabbed his bag. Chris followed. Every step felt dangerous. The shore was only 20 feet away, but it felt endless. Wind pushed them sideways. The lake roared like an angry beast. Branches snapped in the forest. The path turned into mud. Finally, they reached the trees. They ran, slipping, stumbling, their breaths ragged. Their clothes stuck to their skin. Behind them, the storm raged. They found a rock ledge, a natural shelter. They crouched beneath it. Water poured in streams down the stone. But at least they were safe. Chris leaned against the wall. His chest heaved. His hands trembled. He laughed, a shaky sound. "Remind me why we came here?" Daniel grinned weakly. "For peace and quiet." They both burst into laughter. Minutes passed. The thunder softened. The rain slowed. The wind eased. Finally, silence returned. They stepped out carefully. The forest was dripping. The lake was calm again. The storm had left as quickly as it came. Chris shook his head. "Unbelievable." Daniel stretched his arms. "We survived. That's something." They walked back slowly. Their boots squished with every step. Their hair clung to their faces. But they smiled. They talked about the storm, about how close it felt, about the power of nature. Back at the car, they sat inside. The seats squeaked under their wet clothes. Chris opened the cooler. The sandwiches were crushed, but edible. He handed one to Daniel. "To survival," he said. Daniel raised his sandwich like a glass. "To the best fishing trip ever." They ate. They laughed. The storm was already a memory, a story to tell. That day, they caught only 2 fish, but they brought home something greater, a memory of fear, laughter, and the wild beauty of nature's power. Now let's practice together. Read the story again slowly. Repeat each sentence after me. This will help you improve your English and speak with more confidence. Thank you for watching. See you in the next English learning video.